Hey everybody, this is Herschel Froome from High School Top 200. This St. Peter's College 2016 review is brought to you by Fineline Barbers. Now next year Fineline Barbers is having a big year. In September 2017 they're going to be joining up with major barbering suppliers and also some supporting companies, and they have put together an Aotearoa barber competition. Now, the idea behind this is to bring more eyes and ears and recognition to the industry, the barber industry, and so they're going to be holding a one-day Aotearoa barber competition. So keep a lookout for the Facebook page and also the Instagram page, that they will be putting up updates, and also they'll be creating profiles for barbers around the country so that we can see what other talent is out there besides the own barbers that we go to. So they'll be doing that on their Facebook and also their Instagram page. The competition is not just for those that have certificates, but for everybody that is part of the barber industry, and also those that just cut in their sort of the garage and cut up their mates and things like that. You can also join in, and you can also be a part of it too. So all of you out there, go out and let your barbers know that there's going to be an Aotearoa barber competition September next year, September 2017. There's going to be heaps of prizes and stuff like that, and also barbershops can go to this competition and also be able to grow their network, and also to spread out the talent that they have within their shop to everybody else around New Zealand. There'll also be vendors there and companies that be selling their supplies, so you can also go there and as barbers and also buy different supplies and get into a bigger network with other suppliers. So look out for that for Fineline Barbers in 2017 in September. Look on Fineline Barbers on their Facebook page and hit up Vinnie. This review is one that I sort of in the beginning of the year I was kind of surprised at how good St. Peter's were. See, I really didn't have too much expectation in the beginning of St. Peter's, and I got to be honest with that too. I mean, I knew who they had. I knew they had some really good returning players coming back and things like that. I also knew that they did have some good leaders. Obviously, I knew how good Harry was, and also how good Alec was, as well as Cam, and I knew AJ, and I knew they had all these players, but I wasn't too sure how it was going to be for the whole year. And for those that have watched First 15 rugby at this level, and that sort of know it quite well, it's not like professional rugby where you can have maybe 5 or 6 sort of stars to your team, and maybe 1 superstar or 2 superstars, and then the role players are actually really good that they can connect them all in. You could have a lot of good players on your team, like 5, 6, 7, but if your role players aren't up to it, then it doesn't go together, and then your stars end up not looking so good and not performing so well, or not, it doesn't go as good as you think. So like in the professional realm of stuff, you can still hold a really good team, but in high school, even if you have 6 or 7 really good players, it doesn't mean that your team's going to be good, because your role players have to be good. Your bench has to be good. They have to be able to support your talented players that you have. So for me, when I first looked at St. Peter's, that's what I was looking at first. I was looking at, okay, if we have Harry at first 5, who's going to be at halfback? I knew Reloy was there. I wasn't too sure if he was going to get if he was going to be the permanent starter, or I wasn't too sure about stuff like that. I knew Theo was there as well, Theo Staffy, who actually really turned out to be really good. And even though he's kind of undersized in terms of height and weight, and his footwork and his explosiveness sort of gets him over. I thought the team actually really did come together really well. I mean, the preseason didn't look so good, but that really wasn't where I was focused on. I was wondering where they were going to do at the beginning of the year. So they went to De La Salle first, and they won 2010, and then they went to Mag second, and then lost 28-3, and then that's where and even at that point I wasn't too sure where Mag stood as well. So when I looked at it, I was thinking, oh shoot, did I actually get this right? And I wasn't, and was St. Peter's not really up to it this year. Then the next week came, and then I went and watched them play Kings. And then they beat Kings, and Harry played really mean. Robert Leunga played really good too. AJ was really good. AJ was really good in that game. Cameron was really good. Alec was always, Alec is always Alec in the way that he plays, and he was really good too. And so things worked out well, and they got that game. That was the first time I saw Zion Hall, and I thought, flip, this kid is actually way better than I expected. And I was like, I've heard of the boy, but I haven't actually seen him play. And this is the first time I even saw Zion play, and I thought that he stood up really well. I still wasn't really 100% sold on who they were as a team until the week after, and then they beat St. Kennegans. Then I knew that this team does have something. All these guys really, they all really gel together well. They all really play together well. They believed in themselves, and then the bench really backed them up. They had Thomas Drummond and also Christian. Josh Wheeler, who I actually thought might have been able to get the starting spot, but and maybe shuffle some stuff around, but he'll be good for them next year. Josh Loveday was another kid that I thought blew up this year, and there's a kid that we're looking at that is looking at coming back next year, and even could come back the year after that because he's only young. But I think that they actually proved to a lot of people, even to myself, that they were a better team. Herman was really good. Wesley was really good. I liked Kellen and also Cameron as well in that locking situation that they have there. Obviously, for next year, Zion and Josh Loveday are the ones that I'm kind of looking at to see how good they are, and they're probably going to be my ones that I look for the next couple of years if Josh comes back another year. But for next year, Theo's going to be... I want to see what Theo comes back looking like. I want to see what Callum McNabb looks like, because I really like the prospects of him. Maybe he'll move to number 8 as well. But I know that they got this new kid from Mount Roskill. I think he's coming up from Mount Roskill Grammar, and I saw him play against De La Salle under 15s, and he's quite a big kid, and I think he's going over as a number 8. But I saw him play at second 5, and he's a real mean kid. His name is Mussy. I can't remember what his last name is, but yeah, he's one that you should look out for. I'm telling you, he had like a real good style to him, and he would be a really good number 8. So if he actually creeps in there and gets that number 8 spot, and you put him, so it'll be Callum, Josh Wheeler, as well as this kid Mussy, if he comes over. That'll be one of the loose trios that I'll be pretty interested in and seeing how they go. They're going to lose a lot. Obviously, they're going to lose a lot with Alec leaving, Harry leaving, and also Cameron leaving, just because of the players that they are, and AJ leaving because of the players that they are. But then I think they might have enough to actually move in there and to do and to even make top 4 next year for the 1A. Again, this is where we start thinking about who's coming in to cover those spots, and hopefully those role players turned out really good and things like that. But yeah, I think the coaches did really well. I was really surprised, and I was proven wrong a lot in terms of where they stood as a team. I did put down as their worst loss against Gisborne Boys because I thought they should have beat them and beaten them quite easy. And everyone says that, we weren't playing our real team, and there was, we had second 15 players, and everyone says that to me. I really don't believe it, because no one wants to lose the game. Like, I don't care what team you're playing up against, you don't want to lose that game. and you are not going to chance your team against a team like Gisborne Boys, because then they'll beat you, just like what they did, 19-10. But that was probably the loss, the worst game that they had, and the worst loss that they had for the year. But look out for them next year, and I think they're going to be all right. I mean, we'll just have a look and wait and see what the bench looks like and what all these role players look like. But they're always one to watch out for. So have a look out for my next team, and we'll keep these reviews rolling. And then if you want to pass me on any information, it's up to you. I'm open to any information that you want. Peace.